Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's deck profile for you, we're bringing back an oldie. It's a favorite of mine. I got my very first invite with this list. Well, not this one in particular, but with this archetype. We are talking about Imperial. Now we get a ton of support in BT16 that takes this deck just to a whole nother competitive level. But until then, let's have some fun with it. We can use a lot of the cards that we're going to use then now. So why not go ahead and get our hands on it and get a little bit of playtesting in, right? All right, so as always, I have the whole deck profile pulled up for you guys so you can follow along with me, see what we're working with, and see our overall strategy. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, so we're going with a lot of the BT12 engine here. I just really like it. I think it's really, really solid and can do pretty much everything we need it to do. All the cards are super flexible. Like the level 4s can evo on top of the green Wormmon. The Wormmon can evo on top of the Veedramon. It's just a very efficient list, and it does what it does really, really well. So right off the bat, we've got the Veedramon from BT3. When attacking, if this Digimon has jamming, trigger, draw one. So we're always going to have jamming. No matter which Veedramon we have underneath, they both have jamming inheritables. So we'll always have jamming. So we'll always be able to trigger this draw one. So, and occasionally you can also draw off the Veedramon when the opportunity arises. The draw is really important for this deck. I really value the draw just in general, the search power. There's some alternatives, like some people go with like DP, but I don't really feel like this deck really needs a whole lot of DP increasing. Like in certain scenarios, I could see it. But I really just like the draw power, so I can guarantee that I can go into my engine pieces here. So once I go into my level 5, I want to guarantee that I've got both Dragon Mode and Fighter Mode in hand to go for that full combo that they do when they're combined together. So draw power is what I went with. Next we got the Wormmon, actually working in BT12 Wormmon, very similar to the Veedramon as well. You reveal 3, you can add 1 Digimon with Imperial in name or free trait, and 1 Tamer card with kin in its name. From among them, we're not going to be running any of the Duo Tamers yet. This is going to be mainly for next set, where we're going to see a lot of value here. But the inheritable here is end of your turn, this Digimon and one of your other Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card from your hand for the cost. That inheritable is huge. We have it on this Veedramon as well, and this one adds a Davis instead of a Kin, so we'll get a little bit more value out of him currently. But on the times that I don't have this inheritable here and I'm doing other things, it just feels so bad. Like even if I'm going like Wormmon in raising and then Veedramon on top of that, right? That's okay. And then I can do my like Stingmon plays and everything else. If I don't see this Veedramon, I really want to see this Wormmon. If nothing else, just for the raising area, just for that inheritable, because it's so powerful. It is absolutely incredible. If you've ever played this deck and you know the power of this inheritable, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Next up, might surprise some people, I've got the EX1 Veedramon in here. I don't know. I like it a lot when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, gain 1. For a lot of what we're doing here, we're unsuspending like during our combos, so you can gain that memory back, which I think is pretty valuable. But I do also like the promo Veedramon here from the movie. Your turn once per turn when this Digimon would Digivolve into a card with free trait. If you have a Tamer, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. That's really good. Makes going into our level 5s very efficient and very possible. When attacking, if this Digimon has 2 or more colors, draw 1. That's not once per turn, so attacking multiple times, we'll be able to draw multiples out of that. Again, valuing the draws off of that. But yeah, we're going to come back to this EX1 Veedramon. I think this is going to be probably its last time to shine. Once next set comes out, I think we're going to be phasing this Veedramon out. So I'm going to get my value out of it now, especially those alt arts. Those Tamer Evolution Box 2 alt arts are, they're so fire. All right, for our level 4s here, I ended up swapping some ratios around. Originally, I was running 4 of this Veedramon and just 2 of this one. But now I'm in this build, I'm valuing going into full combo more. So I want to be able to go into my level 5s and then into my megas, right, all off the bat. So your turn when this Digimon would DNA Digivolve into a green Digimon card, gain 1 memory. And also for that Stingmon, his is also when this Digimon would DNA Digivolve into a blue Digimon card, gain 1 memory. So of course, all of our level 5s are blue and green, so both will trigger. So the general idea is to Evo into this guy, particularly in raising. You're going to promote up, and then you're going to hard play a Stingmon, and then trigger your Wormmon or Veedramon inheritables here, putting your opponent at roughly 2 memory, depending on where we're at, and then you're going to gain the memory back, right? So off of this, the Veedramon unsuspend, if you're running that. I know that the scenario I'm talking about is with this inheritable, but you see the general idea is to Evo and then bring turn back to you. So yeah, XVmon here giving jamming to our Imperials and our Freeze. This one doing the same thing, so same inheritable. With that jamming, the jamming is nice when you can get those cheeky checks in, but it's been so long since I can just get these cheeky checks in. Like, it feels like there's just too much that prevents me from swinging with a 4000 DP at this point. Next up for the Stingmons, I'm big hard debate here. And I'd love your guys' feedback as well. Which Stingmon do you think is the better for now and for BT16? The BT12 one here, of course, it has that gain that memory back, right, when it DNAs. But this one, it just plays itself for a reduced play cost, for a 3 play cost. So they both essentially are only going to be 3 memory worth. So I don't think that is really that big a deal, unless you're evoing this in raising area and promoting up. Then I think you will see that value more, because then you could hard play the XVmon, and I think it's more flexible that way, because then this is basically turning himself into a 3 play cost, similar to the old Stingmon. If you see my line of thinking on that, it's a little bit hard to explain. But the inheritable also gives piercing, and for the way this build works, like with the Dinobemon and the Davis here, you're going to be swinging into your opponent's bodies, so you really don't want to be giving up security checks that you could have got. And with the Dinobemon, when you delete something in battle, you get a trash to security as well. So this is a really aggro card here. So I do like the piercing a lot. I am debating running 4 and 2 of them for that reason. But for general purposes for the video, I'm just going to leave it as 3 and 3 and just get your guys' feedback on what you're thinking. And of course, we have the classic Stingmon from starter deck 9. It's really, really fabulous that when attacking, if you have a blue Digimon in play, draw 1, not once per turn, so you attack multiple times, you just keep drawing. So again, same as this Veedramon here, inheritable. So we're going to be attacking multiple times and getting multiple draws. Very, very powerful stuff here. Blue has always been really good at draw power, and this deck is like on point, doing the exact same stuff we've always done, drawing like crazy, seeing our combo pieces as fast as possible. All right, into our level 5s here. The Dinobemon from BT12, I think is fabulous. I think this card is incredible with the BT12 engine, okay? With the engine specifically, I think it's really good. So when Digivolving, if DNA Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and this Digimon gets plus 3,000 DP for the turn, then this Digimon may attack an opponent's Digimon. It doesn't have to be the one you suspended. If they have a different suspended target, you could swing over that one instead. So he's going to be putting himself up to 11,000 here. And then his inheritable, your turn once per turn, when one of your Digimon with Imperialdramon in its name, or the free trait, deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. Let's look at the Davis, just so that way you understand what the combo is. Start of your main phase, if you have a Digimon with the free trait or Tamer with cannots in play, gain 1 memory. So you promote battle raising area, you gain a bonus memory to allow you to essentially combo off better. So then when you play your Stingmons or whatever, you're only going to be putting your opponent to 1 memory. Even if they choked you at 1, you're going to gain 1. You're going to go to 2. You're going to play your Stingmons for 3. And then gain 1 memory back. So yeah, pretty good stuff there. And then your turn, when one of your 2-color blue and green Digimon attacks by suspending this Tamer, that Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with Imperialdramon in its name from your hand for the cost. So you swing with the Dinobemon as soon as you DNA, and this is even if it's passed into your opponents, it's basically like a pseudo blitz card here. You're immediately attacking, you're immediately using your Davis, and you're immediately then going into Imperialdramon Dragon mode. And remember, you can suspend things in whatever order you prefer. So if you want to, or activate effects in whatever order you prefer. So if you want to get your, if you want to get your draws off, if you're trying to dig for your Imperial, right, you can get this draw as well. You can get this draw, so you can get 3 draws potentially there, trying to dig into your Dragon mode if you don't have it. Or into your fighter mode. And then this one is when this Digimon, when Digivolving, if this Digimon has blue Digivolution card, unsuspend this Digimon. So immediately is going to unsuspend. Now again, you're paying 3 Evo costs for this. So at this point, you're putting your opponent to 3 memory, assuming you didn't have the memory fixer Davis on field. And if it has a green Digivolution card, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So we've already suspended one off the Dynabemon. Now we're suspending another one off the Dragon mode. End of attack. This Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with Imperialdramon in its name in your hand for the Digivolution cost. When this Digimon would Digivolve by this effect, reduce the Digivolution cost by 2. And it's anything with Imperialdramon. If you want to go into Paladin mode, you can do that. If you want to go into Imperialdramon Dragon mode Ace, you can do all that stuff. Really nice, flexible effect here. And it's end of attack. So if you count that Dynabemon plus 3k, he's going to be swinging at 15k. So he's probably going to be clearing most bodies. He's going to have jamming for the security checks. He's feeling really good. As soon as you clear that security, the Dynabemon Inheritable will kick in to trash the security, and then you can get your piercing here off of this Stingmon for more checks. Really solid. But for our case here, we're going to be going into fighter mode. So can Evo for 2 on top of your Imperialdramon Dragon mode, but remember, we're reducing the Evo cost by 2 with that end of attack. So this is now a free Evo into our fighter mode, and then when Digivolving, suspend all your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards. Then return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to its owner's hand. Now remember, we got to suspend off of Dino B and off of Dragon mode. There was no restriction on what we could target for those. This one has to be no Digivolution cards, but that's okay. Because we've already suspended the targets we wanted anyways, so then we can bounce it to hand. By returning one Dragon mode from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to its owner's hand, place all of your opponent's suspended Digimon at the bottom of their owner's deck instead. So now we're just wiping the field of a lot of things. Or, if they have, some sort of weird protection effects, sometimes the bottom decking gets around it instead. So I really like the When Digivolving effect. It's a really powerful removal. And then all turns, this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP for each color in its Digivolution cards. While it has 2 or more colors, it gains security tank plus 1 and blocker. So, and remember, we unsuspended off of the Dragon mode here. So, right, so unsuspend the Digimon when Digivolving, and then we go for end of attack, then we Evo for free into the fighter mode, and now we can swing again with security attack plus 1 on him, with another 1000 DP. For each color in this Digimon's Digivolution card. So he's got the 3k from Dynabemon. Now he's going to get another 2k from the blue and green sources. So now he's up to 18k. Swinging into security or swinging over bodies. Again, we still have the piercing here. So for whatever reason, if something had prevention from getting bottom decked, now you can just swing over it instead with the Stingmon. Piercing. So yeah, really good combos here. I'm a big fan of it. It does so much. Yeah, that's a lot of working pieces going on. But remember, all that draw power we just talked about, all the search power we talked about, it feels fine, honestly. I've had this combo pop off so many times. It's really not that difficult to see your pieces. I'm a big fan of 3 and 2 for our Imperials. The level 5s put in a lot of work, particularly the Paildramon. So going back to our other level 5 here, the starter deck 9 one, this card is just a beast. So when Digivolving, DNA Digivolving, return one of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 DP or less to the bottom of its owner's deck. Man, at the time when this came out, against the Mass Day decks, and they were running all those 6,000 DP level 5s. Oh, I felt so bad for those players. For them to be released at the same time as this guy. Because he's bottom decking everything left and right. Just really, really strong. And then when attacking, unsuspend this Digimon. So then you're just getting another attack. So you can go swing, jamming Veedramon, DNA into Paildramon. You can swing there and then unsuspend and then swing again. And then you can do your whole Davis combo, go into Dragon mode, who's going to then unsuspend, go into Fighter mode, swing again for 2 more checks. That's full 5 security there. If you want to run a Blitz Omnimon in this deck, I completely understand why, because that Blitz Omnimon would be the 6th security there. So the deck can OTK. It absolutely can, and it can do it. Oh, golly, could you do it on turn 2? I guess it depends on how much memory your opponent gave you, but let's see, going second, I really think you could, because your opponent puts you to 2, you evo in raising area with a rookie, and then go into an XVmon, and then say you played your Davis to pass turn, put your opponent back to the 3 memory, they kick it back over to you, you promote up, your Davis gives you 1, putting you at 2, then you can go Stingmon. Let's just say we do this one here, so that's 3, so you put your opponent to 1, you DNA off of that. Let's see, assuming you have one of these inheritables not gaining you any sort of memory. Yeah, so you can go into Dino B for free, you swing, then you're going to go into Dragon mode, so I guess not, you're just not going to have quite enough memory without like extra things or your opponent putting you to extra. But with a few turns of setup, I think you could. Turn 3, definitely. You do have the Hammer Sparks in here as well. So yeah, pretty powerful engine. Big fan of it. Moving on though, Davis here from BT3, just, God, one of the best. All of these cards, all of these old school cards, these memory fixers from back in the day. I mean, we're talking like the Mimis and like even the tie with the security tank +1. We still see that in Red War Greymon. And then Davis here, just on play, reveal 3, add 1 blue, 1 green, and bottom deck the rest. In Imperial, this is a must-have, I feel like this, I don't see this deck, or really, yeah, I don't see this deck ever dropping this. I mean, you could drop it down to a 2 of, because you only ever really need 1. Once you get 1 into play, you're pretty good. For purposes here, I just have it even split here of 3-3. You could adjust your ratios depending on what you're wanting. If you're really wanting to pull that combo off, like we talked about earlier, you could argue running this instead. Also, you get value off of multiple Davises here by gaining 1 memory. So, there is that as well. Now, for removal, we're running the Megadeth. Megadeth is just one of the... It's an unfair card, it feels like. Yes, you have to have a blue and a green source on field to be able to play it, but suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to its owner's hands. Again, you don't have to target the thing that you chose to suspend. Just like with other green options, you can suspend one thing and then bounce another thing, right? Which is really nice when it gets hit in security. They've already attacked with one thing, and they're going to follow up with another attack. Well, it's like, I want to suspend this other thing so you can't attack with it next, but I'm going to bounce the original target because that's a super scary card. It might have multiple security checks, whatever. And it's 5 memory. Even if you have to play it from hand, 5 memory is nothing. Plenty of removal, is so much more. You might think, well, I mean, what, 2 memory difference, maybe 3 memory difference, depending on, if you're using a blue or green. That's a lot in this game. I mean, that adds up quick. So, yeah, I think Megadeth is just super good. I do have the 1 of Ice Wall in here. Some people argue in a super aggro deck like this, or Melga, don't run Ice Wall because it slows down your consistency. It's a brick. It doesn't help your aggro plays. Ice Wall is a good card. I'm sorry, but, if you need 1 more turn to stall to see more pieces, I could play 1 search card and pass turn, give my opponent a bunch of memory, or I can play an Ice Wall, guarantee that I'm going to have a next turn, and have another draw, right? Be able to then perform other actions, especially if I have a memory fixer on field, and I can put my opponent to 1 with this, and they can't do anything about it. They're going to get 1 single attack, and then it's back to my turn. They put me to 1, and then Davis puts me to 3. That's really, really efficient card. I think Ice Wall is just good. If there's a reason it's at 1 of. Pretty much if there's a 1 of in the game and it's for a color that you run, you're probably running it, right? I guess there's really fringe scenarios where you don't, but Yeah, Ice Wall is one of those like generic blue cards that if you're running a blue deck, you're probably running the one Ice Wall. I've got Hammer Spark in here. Might surprise some people. Instead of like blue memory boost or I don't want to run the trainings because we're doing a lot of evoing mid attack and you can't use your training cards for that. I could use it for my level 4s even when they're evoing. But for a lot of what we're doing here, we're evoing in raising area, which so you can't use it then, promoting up, and then we're hard playing the other level 4 that we need to DNA with, right? So we're not evoing there most of the time because we don't have the memory to play a level 3 and then to evo afterwards. Usually just the 3 memory alone to play the Stingmon is passing turn. So I think the Hammer Spark actually feels really good in this deck. Like we talked about those combos earlier, just getting a couple 1 or maybe 2 more memory, and that's all you need. You could run a blue memory boost. Yes, you absolutely could. You are going to be missing some targets in the deck, so just be careful of when you decide to play it. If you don't have if you run the risk of bottom decking a green and you're really desperate for a green, maybe don't play the blue memory boost. But you absolutely could. But I don't know, Hammer Spark just, for some reason, Hammer Spark always feels really good in Imperial decks. If you know, like, if you have a better reason than I do, please put it in the comment section below, because I'm really curious, like, do other Imperial players, like, have that same sort of connection to there? Because, like, literally, we're comboing off. Like, Davis puts us to 2, Hammer Spark puts us to 3, then it doesn't matter which Stingmon we play, we're keeping turn. Yeah, it's crazy value, crazy good value. I absolutely love it. I love Imperial. I'm so excited for BT16. I'm excited for this. I will definitely be playing this more here soon. So if you're going to be watching any of our live streams, definitely stay tuned for that. Hopefully I can get this guy worked into one of those regionals or ultimate cups. So yeah, this is my baby. I love this deck.